When it comes to anime films about World War II, there are two that get thrown around. The more famous one is Grave of the Fireflies, a heart-wrenching story about two orphans living during and following the war. But the one I personally think leaves a larger impact is 1983's Barefoot Gen. Loosely based off a semi-autobiographical manga, Barefoot Gen addresses the hardships and cruel realities of, well, war. With the amount of World War II films out there, it's practically its own genre, it's easy to overlook or forget about them. Barefoot Gen may be the former due to its proximity with Grave of the Fireflies, but it definitely isn't the latter. The film starts in the middle of summer in Hiroshima, where a young wild boy named Gen and his family live their day-to-day lives. They fish, play, work, all while trying to stave off hunger due to the war. It doesn't help that the mother's pregnant, and the one most needing food. But despite all that, they're a lovely, happy nuclear family. However, when America finally drops the bomb on the city, it's all turned to ruin, with only Gen and his pregnant mother surviving the fallout. In the days following the blast, Gen, his mom, and newborn sister have to learn a new way to survive, with sickness, radiation, and famine all over the place. Will Gen's proud and optimistic outlook overcome the challenge, or will it crumble to the weight of his new responsibility and changes? The best thing I can say about the film, which is a compliment to the amount of great things it already does, is how it balances the atmosphere. The first 30 minutes are mostly of this family trying their best to get by. The father's an honest working man, the mother's a sweet doting mother, and the children are rambunctious but loving of their parents and each other. They're a very likable unit as they just bring a humanity to what is otherwise a terrible time. Even after the decimation of the city, whenever you see Gen and his family have something good happen to them, there's a nice breath of serenity and optimism to be found in this wasteland. However, it can take just a second for that nice feeling to dissipate, as death, anguish, and dread still loom in the city, thus tugging us back to the reality of it all. It transitions dramatically smooth and maintains in a tragically realist lens. Through that lens is some heavy imagery, and I'm not sure how much YouTube will let me get away with showing it, so here's a warning, I guess. What can you really say about it? It's an atom bomb. The dramatic shift from this happy, picturesque place to a burning pile of walking corpses is just about as polarizing as, well, an atom bomb. To which, yeah, we should talk about that. And again, YouTube, warning, here. I would actually recommend you watch the scene for yourself, as it's impressive and frankly disturbing. You know, in the way it needs to be. It's on YouTube somewhere, so, you know. Anyway, the entire scene of the Hiroshima bombing and the subsequent devastation is nothing less than perfect. You immediately know what's coming the moment these planes are shown, so it's only a matter of time and build up to said event. The build up to the actual bombing is cut and edited as its own mini-movie, leading to what is some hardcore imagery and animation. It is rightfully not pleasant in how effective it is in conveying the sheer fatality of the bomb, and it perfectly captures the distress and death felt that day. And honestly, I don't even think it's the best scene of the film, it's just that impactful. And I don't think it would have been as effective if it weren't for the great characterization of Gen and his family, because it does paint this more tragic picture of people undeserving of such brutality, to which, yeah, when a ray of hope is shown, it's all the more fulfilling and quaint. Barefoot Gen's a masterclass in establishing atmosphere, and that's due in part to its establishing the event and established characters. Granted, the film's not perfect, like the sound editing can be a bit wonky, but other than a few nitpicks here and there, it's one that definitely needs to be talked about just as much as Grave of the Fireflies. It can be a tough movie to comprehend, but it's one that ultimately needs that comprehension the most.